Hello and welcome to TWWORk, a space where you can hear and read about some amazing people, the fantastic jobs they do and the paths that led them to where they are today. I'm here today, Rachel. Hi.
Hello.
Do you want to tell the listener what it is you do for a living?
Okay. I'm a hair and makeup artist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Amazing. With also a little sideline going on.
Well, it's a passion.
Yeah.
Jewellery, silversmith.
That's a chat I need to have off mic.
Yeah.
But for now, and before we go too far into any of this, we're going to track all the way back.
Oh my
and
gosh.
talk about little you.
Long time. Yeah.
What were you like when you were younger? What were you into?
I was into makeup.
Were you?
Yeah.
It would be really upsetting if you weren't.
Yeah, it's been a dream all of my life.
Oh.
And my mum was a hairdresser.
Okay.
And an Avon lady.
Oh, brilliant.
I know. So there used to be like the magic under the cupboard stairs with all the samples and things in. So
was it just like tempting you all the time?
I was always in there. My mum was always losing stuff because I'd taken it away and I was playing with it. I mean, you're talking from about 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think for any girl, though, not any girl, but that would be a dream, wouldn't it?
It was a dream. The only part of it that wasn't a dream is because my mum was a hairdresser. She used to practice on my hair and make some really big,
mock-ups.
Well, she thought he looked great, but... So, yeah, I was always known as the kid with the bleached bit at the front or can you remember the tail? You used to have a tail at the back.
Yes, yeah.
Kajagoogoo, you know?
You had that.
Yeah, so...
Although, kind of maybe you were a bit ahead of your time, though, were you?
Maybe.
Was your mum a bit ahead of the time?
My mum was very... I always remember her as being very glamorous.
Yeah.
And when she used to get ready to go out, she'd spend ages doing her hair and makeup, and I'd just sit there at the kitchen table, just watching and learning and thinking, wow, look at you now. The transformation was it was always a big deal for me to see that.
But
happen.
even back then, I mean, those kind of transformations were nowhere near like they are now. I mean, let's face it, But the fact that even back then, because what was there back then? Bit of foundation, mascara.
It was all a bit powdery looking.
Powdery,
and
bit of eyeliner, bit of eyeshadow,
blues and purples on the eyes.
Amazing.
But my mum, she always did it really well and always looked lovely. Obviously she doesn't do it so much now, but I think that's where it fed into me very early.
Well, also about appearance and taking pride in your appearance, I'm guessing.
Yeah, for me it was the transformation. It was that's my mum and now that's
my mum. You saw it even back then.
Yeah, it was that what it could do for you, and also her confidence as well. What it did for that. So yeah, it was always there. And preschool, she'd be a mobile hairdresser, and I would go with her. So I'd be watching her do hair. So I've not been trained in anything.
Oh yeah, okay. So hang on then. So you obviously had the interest. What were you like at school though? What were your favourite subjects? That kind of thing.
Anything creative.
Yeah. Okay.
I wasn't very academic. I was a bit naughty at school. If I wasn't in the lessons that I didn't like, like art, drama, even music at a push. Anything that it made me sit and have to. Back in those days, lessons weren't like they are now. I don't know. It was like look at a textbook and just write it out.
Literally, yeah.
And I can just remember me and a friend of mine. We looked like we were writing. But we're actually just having a conversation on our books and we're just showing it and then she'd reply on her book and show it back to me. So no, in those lessons I was not great, but then if you put me in the art lesson and with the art teacher, I was thriving.
Yeah.
And I spent my lunch times in there creating things.
Wow.
As long as I was creating something, whatever it was, I was in my element as I am now.
Even now, yeah.
Yeah.
So college, you gone to college?
I did go to college.
Yeah.
I was told actually by one of my art teachers, I said I wanted to be a makeup artist. And and back then he said to me, well, you have to go to London for that and you'll never, there's not a lot of call for it. So I ended up going to college and doing graphic design and photography.
Yeah.
Because... Yeah, photography. I loved photography, and my 16th birthday, I got a camera, and so that was my thing. So did photography and graphic design. Completed the 2 in 1 year, So I still kind of had another year of education to really try and... I can't remember back then whether we needed to stay. We didn't need to stay, did we?
No, you didn't have to stay.
No. So I thought, I'm going to look for a job. And I saw a job for a picture framer.
Oh.
I thought, that's quite creative and possibly arty. And it was a brand new gallery that was opening in Leicester. And it was to join the team, and, you know, I thought, oh, that sounds cool. I might do that. And I did get the job.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was there for about 8 years, making frames, you know, putting pictures together, you know. Yeah. And then after that, I decided I did want to do makeup still.
So what, at this point, are you married now?
Not married, but I met my eldest daughter's dad in the gallery.
Right.
He was my manager.
Right.
So we met then. I was 18.
Yeah.
And we got together. And I think we bought a house.
Yeah.
Which when it was easy to do.
Yeah.
And then I had my daughter. I think I was 34. So for those years, I think I was building a home, trying to earn money because I moved out of home, obviously. Yeah. Trying to build up enough money to pay a deposit on a house. So for those few years, I was really busy, not thinking about the creative stuff and just trying to...
Were you doing anything creative in your own time, though?
Oh, well, decorating a house and doing the interiors.
But what was your style like and all that? Were you still doing sort of makeup, hair?
I think I missed a bit out. But...
Oh, no, it's all right. I can cut this back in seamlessly, don't worry.
Okay, so whilst I was still with Simon before I worked at the gallery, I went to be a makeup artist for a photography studio who did before and afters. It was the beginning of the before and afters.
Hang on, but had you done any...
No.
Right, okay, so how did you get that gig? What was the...
So from the framers, I decided that this job came up as a makeup artist, and I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to go for that.
And where had you seen it?
In the Leicester Mercury, quite possibly.
Okay, yeah.
And because I'd done photography, I did a lot of before and afters of my own.
Yes, okay.
So somebody would come and
so you always had a bit of a portfolio.
A little one. It was a bit shit, but it was. You could see that I could do makeup. Put it that way. And I remember going and saying, "Oh yeah, I'm a makeup artist." Blah blah blah. So I literally blagged my way into that job.
I love that.
And they hired me, and I can remember having to do some training, and the lady that was training me, she said, "I don't need to train you." She goes, "You're better than I am." And I was like, well, she goes, "Oh, it's an easy week for me. I can just sit back and watch you just do what you do." And I started to do that, and I did it for about 2 years. I must have done 12 makeovers a day.
Oh my God.
For 2 years.
Wow.
Like 5 days a week.
Oh my gosh.
So that was my training.
So what was this? This is people coming
in, having hair and makeup done, and then have like this kind of glamorous photo, you know, with the feather boa.
Yeah.
It was all a bit tacky, but it was the beginning of the before and after offers that you would get at different
But equally,
studios.
it's quite nice. Was that obviously it's women. So
it's
quite
women.
almost maybe the start. It's that whole female empowerment thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So they'd come in and they'd be with me for... Well, I got 45 minutes to do hair and makeup. So I learned to do it really fast.
Yes.
So I didn't know ethnicity. I didn't know skin type, hair type.
So how much makeup had you done before applying to had you done any like friends and family?
Friends and family.
I love
I'd always do my friends' makeup.
Yeah.
And I'd always, I'd
course back then
makeup.
there was no Instagram or anything. No. So it's not like you'd got like a whole load of it, unless you're specifically taking them of your friends.
I would do that. I would do their before, do their makeup, and then set up the lighting. I had like a lighting rig in my bedroom, and do the after.
So it was always a hobby then?
It was always a bit of a hobby. And it's like, it's that transformation thing.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so whilst framing then, you were always still doing hair and makeup, transformation things with friends, family, taking some pics, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
And then when I had Ellie, I kind of didn't have time to be very creative.
Yeah.
My photographs were of her then, obviously, all the time. Millions and millions of it.
Yeah.
I do, arty shots, black and white shots. So I suppose there was a tiny bit of creativity coming through. but it became quite deadened for quite a while.
Yeah.
But obviously then when I left and I had to find a job.
Yeah.
I've done a bit of makeup. I've done, I did a few weddings of people that had seen some of my work.
Yeah.
Friends of friends. And then I decided I'd do this body shop at home thing because it was a job where I could go out in the evening and I could do a makeover. And I would sell shitloads of makeup.
So hang on though, was this, right, so because we obviously flipped back then though.
Yeah.
So obviously, so the body shop makeup thing is after you doing the transformation things for the photographer.
Yes, that's when I moved to Melton and left.
Yeah, so you'd left, you did that for a while, and then for a while were you doing the body shop thing as well, or?
No, just the body shop thing on its own now, because I've got Ellie as a little one.
Yeah, yeah.
So the body shop was, 3 evenings a week, and I'd drive, because these kind of things, you'd invite women to come.
Yeah, like parties.
And some women would come from far afield, and then they would want to book me to do one at their house. So I'd be driving
so just,
all over Leicestershire, to do these, just to earn 50 quid a night,
No.
But I was selling a lot. And makeup was the thing. And I thought, okay,
so that's a real nod to your mum's past as well,
really,
though, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So makeup has always been there.
Yeah, and even the whole Avon body shop thing.
Yeah. And then I decided that I wanted to do makeup. And I set up a website. This is when websites were like, oh my God, this is like another level. What is a website?
Yeah, totally.
If I'm going to set up a website, makeup artists, weddings, mainly weddings, because I knew that's where the money would be and where there would be a need.
Yeah.
And people that knew me knew that I did makeup, and I think did it well. So I set up a website and it went live. And the next day, I got Hello Magazine email me.
Hang on, when was this then?
This was back in 2000.
So literally the internet, like you've just said, was just starting.
Yeah.
So when you say you built that, how did you get someone to do it?
Somebody to do it. Who it was a friend of ours.
But even that was really like nobody could build websites back then.
I know.
Wow.
2000 it was. We didn't even have. We had to get a computer that you had to dial up.
Yeah.
To get the internet. God, what's gone in all this time?
But what made you think you needed to do a website?
Because I thought I was thinking, there was still yellow pages and that, and I'm thinking, well, no, people need to see what I've done.
Yeah.
People need to see pictures. And
well, we were all using the internet then, but I guess it was sort of like you say, it wasn't
like
Google, like it wasn't anything like that, was there?
Like you wanted to go onto the internet, you had to dial up and wait 10 minutes.
Yeah, and you had to was it Ask Jeeves or other stuff like that? I don't think Google was a thing, was it back then?
No, so I got an email address and a website.
Wow, and the very next day?
Within that week.
Yeah.
So I can remember thinking, oh my God. Hello Magazine emailed me, and they were doing an article, like the bride of the year was getting married at Stapleford Park. They were doing it at Stapleford, and they Googled makeup artist in the area. And I think back then I was the only one. I think that's obviously why I got it, because I was the only one. But
you'd obviously got all your pictures and stuff on there.
Got a few pictures, yeah. So the bride came to have a little trial, and then we went to Stapleford and we did the shoot, and it went in the magazine, and my name was all in the magazine, and I thought, right, I need to use that.
Yeah.
Use the hell out of that. And
back when there was no social media.
Started to do wedding fairs.
Okay,
Hello Magazine Bride of the Year makeup artist.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I used it to it could no longer be used. It was rinsed.
Yeah.
And everyone booked me on that.
Wow.
Oh my God, she's the Hello makeup artist.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of wasn't for Hello Magazine. It was for the bride that was getting married there, but it was an amazing thing to use.
Yes.
And that catapulted my career into wedding makeup.
Yeah.
To this day, 25 years later, I'm still doing wedding makeup. And all the makeup as well.
Yeah. Ergo, how I know you.
Yes.
Because you did my photo shoot.
I did, yeah. And I love photo shoot makeup.
Yeah.
The most, actually, because you can be a little bit more creative. I love weddings for the vibe and everyone's usually happy.
And it's what you're doing for the bride is so special, isn't it?
Yeah. And again, it's the transformation thing, isn't it?
And yeah, because those photos, we're saying that now, 50% of them
will live forever. They might live in a drawer somewhere.
Get burnt. Or deleted. Ceremoniously burnt.
Well, I've had a couple of brides come to me twice.
Have you?
Yeah, when they got remarried and so that's really nice.
Yeah.
But for me, you're thinking I don't know where it's going to go for me, because I love it as much as I always have.
I was going to say.
But it's whether the young, because now the brides were my age, now I'm the age of their mums.
Yeah.
And how much longer will a bride want to book somebody that's older than their mum? I'm wondering where I'm going to go with it.
But has it slowed yet?
I think it's slowed a little bit purely for the fact that there's so many people want to be a makeup artist now.
Well, and I was also going to say, is there an element that's, given the cost of living crisis and everything else with weddings and everything, are people doing their own makeup more because they can? It's one of those things that actually they might think I could do. I mean, I did my own makeup.
Yeah, I did.
Right. I didn't look good on my wedding day, but then.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
Well, no, like having had someone, if I'd had someone like you.
I think if you've never had it before,
I'd still be married now.
If you've never had your makeup done before, professionally, and it's then you do, you would then think, oh yeah, no, I definitely want that. You only have somebody who knows how to do makeup. Yeah. They bring out your features.
Yes.
We're not masking. We're bringing out the features. And I think you then look in the mirror and go, oh my God, I didn't realise my eyes were that blue, or I didn't realise my cheekbones were so chiselled. Yeah. All I've done is enhanced what you have. Yeah. And I think that's the creative process of working on somebody's face. And as people get older, that's a harder job. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. You get somebody who, I don't know, it's harder, but I get more out of it. Yeah. You know, that's where the skill is, I can knock 10 years off somebody. Yeah. And it's only makeup and it can be washed off and you go back to how you were before. Yeah, yeah. That's the key. The makeup is the joy, it's not forever. It's how it makes you feel though. Well, to see mums on a wedding day, they've come along for the trial and they're sitting on the sofa in the background watching, and I said, are you going to have some then? I go, come and have a sit down and we'll have a little play and see how you feel. And then they go, oh, because they think I'm going to make them look like a drag queen for some reason. Well, yeah. And then they go, I said, well, I'll tell you what, go home, have a look, see what your husband does. And then if you want to be added on, just let me know. And they always do. Yeah. Because I've just enhanced them. Yeah. And you can do that very subtly with makeup. Yeah, I believe it. It's, And then people come for me. I had a transgender woman come for me for a makeup lesson the other day. Wow. And it's a photographer I worked with for years ago, and he was called Martin Neves. And then I think just before lockdown, he did a podcast and came out as transgender. Bearing in mind he got married and everything to a woman, and I did the wedding. And wow. Anyway, because I knew him as Martin. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Amazing story. She's now a leader of a trans ambassador. Wow. And she came to me for a makeup lesson. So what's her name now? Katie Neves. Katie Neves. Oh, that's not. I like Katie's. You don't really mean Katie. She's an absolute joy. Oh. Smashed all the questions you need to ask about transgender women. Yeah. About dating and sex life. And she literally just told me everything. Yeah. And I'm like, I love that. Yeah. Well, that's the only way to break down barriers. And also to break down, you've almost got to make it haven't you? Do you know what I mean? So that people aren't so like, oh. Yeah. I'm sure you keep doing wedding. You'll do all of that because you're brilliant at it. But equally, if you really want to have more of an impact, or if you want to do more meaningful stuff, maybe now's your time to do it. Yeah, I think. I mean, obviously, it's the making people feel good is what I want to do, and I do that on a wedding. I do that, but there's so many more people out there that aren't getting married that need it. Really need it. Yeah. So maybe offering some advice, some help, because I'm going through that as well. It's such a big thing. You know, it's like. I was doing a thing about, I think I probably wanted to do kind of what you're doing, and maybe I do it the other way around, and I'll come to you, and it's like, what's in your bag? What's in your makeup bag?
I couldn't show you my makeup. You'd be so ashamed of me.
And I think loads of people are the same. What's in your bag? Show me what you're using.
No.
That to me sounds like a good chat.
Yeah, that's podcast. A really good chat.
So yeah, maybe we'll do
What's
that.
in your bag?
You've got all the kit. I'm turning it around.
It feels like something slightly different. What's in your bag?
What's in your bag? Well, I don't want to say what's in your makeup bag, because it sounds, what's in your bag sounds a bit more. Ooh,
but is it right for you? Like you say, is it right for your colours? Is it right for your age? Is it right for your face shape? Is it right for everything? Yeah.
Some people have random stuff in their bag.
Oh, 9 people. No, I'm going to say 9.5 people out of 10 won't have the right stuff. It just won't.
Oh gosh, I have makeup lessons where people come to me with their, and I say, bring your makeup bag, and I'll go through it. And some women go out and buy new stuff just to come to me because they're too ashamed.
Yeah, I would.
And there's this one lady, she came and she had everything that she'd always had in it. And she pulled out this makeup sponge. Because I used that on my wedding, which was like 20 years ago. And I went, right, get the bin. I got the bin line, I just thought, that's going. This makeup brush that is now flat, you know, when they do that. It's that's going. Yeah. And I'm going to advise you which ones to get.
Yeah.
So this is what I'd like to do. That would be fun. And then also my silversmith, my hobby.
Oh yeah. My gosh, yeah.
So in lockdown, I wasn't being creative.
Yeah.
I just had this face to work on, and I got bored of that. I did a few videos.
Were your daughters back home for lockdown?
Yeah, but they didn't want to give me their faces.
Oh.
No. Anything I wanted, they wouldn't do.
Yeah.
So I did a few videos for people. I did some online things and some online makeup lessons with friends, basically, because we were, you know, on an evening we'd have a little get together.
Yeah.
But I wasn't fulfilling the being and creating something, you know. So I went on for a course of silversmithing as a night's class at the beginning of lockdown. Obviously when we shut down totally, I couldn't go, but when we did resume, we all had masks on. So we were doing it like that. And I did it every week.
Wow.
Up until, I don't know, about a year ago.
Wow. And loved it.
Loved it, and realised that, and also that's something I've always loved. I've always loved jewellery, and always wanted to make jewellery, but I couldn't do both.
Yeah.
Did metal work at school and made stuff and loved it. And then it was a case of building this thing that we're in, and having a workshop and just decking out the workshop, which is really expensive because tools are so expensive.
I know, yeah.
And I'm finally making stuff and selling stuff now.
Yay.
But one-offs, they're just one-offs.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to ask you my 3 final questions and then let you get back, because I've also got a Tesco order arriving.
Oh yeah, can't miss that. Got to eat.
I've got to eat at some point. Okay. The first question I always ask people is there any advice you would give your younger self? Any version of your younger self? The young self that got told she couldn't do makeup?
Well, I don't think there is anything I would tell my younger self.
Because you think you've...
Maybe, I don't think I've, you know, I've not like nailed it, but I think in my head I've always been a person that has been quite strong in where I'm going and where I want to go, and I'll do it.
Yeah.
At some point I'll do it.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, don't expect it all to come too fast.
Yeah, which is a real thing for young people, isn't it?
Because if it's not
that instant gratification,
if it's not happening next week or 6 months'
or even
time,
in the next year, yeah.
Yeah, because I became a makeup artist, a freelance makeup artist, when I was 30, nearly 30.
Knowing in many ways that you wanted to do it when you were 5.
Yeah, and I'd never put it on that's never going to happen. It was always on a back burner in my head.
Yeah.
So I think what I would say to myself, just like, be patient, be more patient with it. Then question 2 is always, what do you think your older self would say to you now? So let's say 70-year-old you. Oh gosh, would say to me?
Yeah. What would she say to you now?
I sometimes think that already. Yeah.
What would she say?
She would say, I had an amazing work life and saw so many and met so many interesting people, because my job involves me getting to know somebody. Every time somebody's on it's an hour to 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I get to know that person. And I think that I would look back and think, God, you've met some amazing people and you've been to some fantastic places, been abroad on weddings.
Yeah.
So I think I would look back at 70 and think,
well done.
You did good and you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And you look great. Okay, then the final question is always, just is there a mantra or a saying, anything that you just live and die by that you want to...
There is.
Share?
Yeah.
What is it? Tell us.
I'm quite chilled, okay, and I don't worry. So cross that bridge if you come to it. Not when, if.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Because you may never come to that bridge and you may never have to stress about it.
Yeah.
And my grandma told me that.
Oh,
yeah.
Wise grandma.
She was quite chilled, but yeah, don't stress the small stuff. And it's hard to tell somebody who's a bit of a stress head that, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's the world we live in now, isn't it?
Yeah. So don't stress it.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
And on that note,
say
thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's been fun.
If you would like to hear more about this chat, see some pics and read about how to get started in this industry and or this role, then please go to our website www.TWWork.org. The link is in this podcast page and across our socials. Sincere thanks.